Did bodybuilding take more for me or give me more? It's hard to say. And I love bodybuilding. I love everything fitness has done for me. It's completely transformed my life. I mean, I'm sitting in a dream home here. My kids are out there playing in a pool. And, I've achieved quite a bit of success, if you will. But then I question myself and ask myself, did I achieve success when I look at the price that it came with? And in today's video, I want to talk about 5 reasons that this whole world of bodybuilding gave me body dysmorphia and even made me hate myself. I don't know if I said those words to myself, I hate myself, but I was so disconnected from myself, you'd have to say he must hate himself because he wasn't able to ever love himself and assess what was actually happening. And there was 5 specific things that I want to share with you so that you don't feel like you're alone, but more importantly, to caution you to ask yourself, is it worth going through this process of getting so shredded and building so much muscle that it becomes something that hurts you more than helps you? The pressure to achieve a perfect physique led to constant dissatisfaction with my own body. I was always feeling like I wasn't enough, no matter how much progress I made. You got to keep in mind, I used to be 135 pounds. So when you see my photo of me at 190, people say, oh, this guy looks like an average dude that works out. Sure, but I used to be 135 pounds. And when I did my first show when I was 25 years old, I remember not even being in the top half of the pack. There was over 35 people on stage, and I wasn't even in the top 20. I was at the back of the stage. I didn't even get a call out. And I asked the guy who ran the show, I said, what do I need to bring up? And this was a stupid question. He goes, your calves, your triceps, your upper pecs. You got to get tighter on your abs, your biceps too. I'm like, geez, I should have asked him, what do I not need to work on? He literally pointed out every single body part, and I just bust my butt. I took these photos with the girl I was dating at the time. I thought I looked amazing. Looking back, I was scrawny. I went from 190 down to 171 for this show, and I just pretty much looked like, kind of a ripped fitness model. But I definitely didn't look like a bodybuilder at any stretch of the imagination. And that show just really almost discouraged me. When I was up on stage with other dudes that came off, I felt so inferior. And what was I even thinking going up on stage? Now, don't get me wrong, I had abs. It was definitely a great accomplishment. But deep down, I never processed any of that dissatisfaction. And I left those shows just feeling way behind. This leads to the second reason why bodybuilding made me maybe hate myself, which was obsessive comparison. I was constantly comparing myself to other guys in the gym. I was constantly comparing myself to competitors, to other online creators who had programs, and I always felt inadequate and frustrated with my own progress. I'd look at my arms and I'd be like, I bust my butt training my arms. I can hardly make my arms 16 inches. And I'm doing, I think, everything I'm being told to do. I'm looking at my forearms. Why can't these stupid forearms grow? I'm looking at my calves. I'm doing all the calf raises in the world 5 days a week. I can't gain an inch, not even half an inch on my calves. And then, I'm looking at my abs. Why don't my abs not pop like that? Why don't I have rounder delts? I was constantly comparing myself. And the problem with comparison is it's the thief of joy. But what I was never taught was to always measure backwards and to look at how far I've come instead of how far I want to still go. And that just created a lot of feeling like I was behind. I always felt like I was behind. And it brought up all these feelings from high school that I was an average runner, I was an average student, and I just couldn't get ahead. I always felt like I couldn't keep up, and I didn't embrace my own journey, right? The reality was that I'd made significant progress since being skinny Vinny, and I looked really good. And for being a natural guy, I should have been super proud of my progress, but all I could think of was why won't my arms grow? Why don't I have bigger traps? And I just could not embrace my journey and produce feelings of positivity that would drive me forward. Instead, I created feelings of pressure that I needed to keep up. And this leads me to the third reason why bodybuilding led me down this unhealthy track, which was body dysmorphia. So what's body dysmorphia? This is a hot topic now. It's a distorted perception of how your body looks. it makes it very hard to appreciate the muscle you've achieved and the strength gains you've experienced. And all you're focused on are your perceived flaws and imperfections, body dysmorphia. And you stop remembering that, wait a second, I used to be skinny Vinny. I used to be 135 pounds. I'm doing this naturally. I'm busting my butt in the gym. Nobody in my family has built muscle. I'm like the first guy in the Del Montes who's ever gained muscle. Like, that was something I should have been proud of. I was getting people in my world into muscle building. I should have been proud of how far I came. Instead, I used pressure to try and perform instead of feeling proud to keep building off of how far I come. And I just kept looking at myself thinking, man, oh man, I don't fit in. And as soon as I did start making progress, I would somehow try and find somebody who was bigger than me, and then I'd start comparing myself to them. Crazy enough, all these things we're talking about today are the things that slowly led me into the world of TRT and starting to go on a substance that I probably didn't need, which just enhanced all of this. The next reason I have this love-hate relationship with bodybuilding and probably experienced body dysmorphia more than I was aware of until I've shot this video and just like wanted to really reflect before shooting this, was the extreme dieting and mental toll. I didn't appreciate what this did to me. And when you have unrealistic standards around how you should look all year long, it will lead to severe restrictions. And it absolutely leads to certain things that you have to assess for yourself if you want a part of your life. One of the things is guilt around food. Man, I will have guilt if I even think about having an apple fritter or eating a bag of chips with my kids. I feel guilty that I'm even thinking about, getting a bag of chips now when I go to the grocery store and say, hey, do you guys want to get some chips? I'm like, oh, chips are bad. I never grew up with that thought process. I never thought about chips being bad, donuts being bad. And I was a runner and I was always skinny. I didn't have this relationship with food. And then severe social isolation. I remember times where there was family occasions and I would leave the room and go eat in another room because I didn't want to see what everybody else was eating. I'd avoid family events. Long story short, when you want to maintain a certain level of leanness, it does require a certain level of sacrifice. And you just have to ask yourself, like, is the sacrifice worth staying 7% body fat rather than 10% body fat and enjoying more of the pleasures in life? And a lot of people say, no, I don't put that stuff in my body, etc. It's like, okay, cool. But like, for me, food is one of the best parts of life. I'm Italian. I love eating meatballs. I love having pizza. I like having ice cream. They're experiences that enhance life. We have to decide what's important. I also am not talking to the point where we sacrifice our health, but there is a middle. I feel like in fitness, there's an extreme here and there's an extreme here. Guess what? What I found is oftentimes the truth is somewhere in the middle. The last thing that I want to share on how bodybuilding led to this love-hate relationship with the sport and led to body dysmorphia was that there was always pressure to be on. Now, again, good thing and bad thing. Having a YouTube channel was a good thing. When I was lean and the most muscular I'd ever been, to be honest, that's when business was the best. Okay, but guess what? That constant pressure eventually wore me out. It disconnected me from myself. It disconnected me from my family, disconnected me from my kids. Like, I had to always look the part. My world revolved around my meals, my workouts, my sleep schedule, my supplements, right? My restaurants, what we did on the weekends, because if it didn't cater to me, then everyone else would have to adapt. It's going to affect your mental and emotional health. It's just a matter of time. And I was naive. I was thinking, nah, I'm not one of those guys that breaks down. I'm a machine, I'm unstoppable. I'm undeniable. That was the message, I can handle it. I'm a man, step up, man up. Like, those are the mantras that I lived by until next thing you know, you're not managing it, it's managing you. So while a lot of people say, pressure produces diamonds, I get it. Pressure can heal. Guess what? Pressure can also destroy. And we have to just understand that there's different ways to fuel your progress. So to wrap this up, bodybuilding has done a lot of great things for me. I won't regret it. I love what this entire world of fitness has done for me. This has been a stepping stone for me to achieve time, locational, financial freedom, to impact so many people's lives, to build a career, a business around my passions, around my calling. So for those reasons, I don't regret it at all. But in the process of having to look the part and always be on, there was definitely consequences. So just embrace your journey. Know that comparison is the road to hell, and don't compromise certain values in the process of your transformational journey, so that when you arrive, it's not just looking in the mirror and say, hey, I got abs. It's like, I'm proud of how I got the abs. Hey, I gained that muscle and I didn't take the drugs. Hey, I got lean and ripped and I didn't sacrifice enjoyable experiences with my family. I just want to set a higher standard, and I wish I had done that and just even thought about the process and how I was doing things rather than just getting to the finish line. And I think I would have avoided a lot of the pains and consequences I've experienced along the way. So hope this was helpful. Hope it didn't sound preachy, but just again, sharing with you to help you navigate your journey. And I'd love to hear what resonated with you in the comments below. Let me know. And have you experienced anything that I shared, or am I on my own on this one? Don't forget, level up or level off, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.